same way, when a man is a homemaker, he's
Mhm.
still doing work. We don't devalue people based on if society decided if it's going to get paid or not. Imagine if a man had to hire a cook, hire a maid to clean, hire somebody to do laundry, hire a surrogate to have his kids. He can't afford a family.
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to another episode of The Man Space. It is my absolute delight and honor to have another conversation with my co-host, Marquese Martin-Hayes, and my friend and my brother. So this is a family community conversation, a conversation that he and I and in our community have regularly. And we are truly excited to bring this conversation to you because this is a loud cry that we are hearing from a lot of men out there, especially in this day and age where nothing is functioning based on norms and history and standard. And when the perfect tsunami happens, how can we create a pathway and a space for men to have this conversation so that they can truly remain who they are? And the topic for the day today is redefining modern masculinity. And I want to preface it with, as the woman in this conversation, I am a believer that for any relationship to work, even for myself with myself, or for me with a spouse, with a friend, with a brother, with a sister, each has to show up as their being, truly connected to who we are in our authenticity minus the ego, so that we can talk and figure out and navigate forward in relationship to what it is we're trying to accomplish, so that all that we do gets informed by our being. And being is a state of non-performative. There is no performance measures of any kind: financial, social, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of it. Non-performance is non-performative. How can we start from showing up in our state of being, and then from that find our way forward? So with that set up, I am giving from my end. Marquise, I turn it over to you to set
Yeah,
it up and build on that.
I think everybody just turns it off, the podcast off, because you laid out non-performative, and everything in our society in America is performative based. I remember hearing the phrase, there's no such thing as unconditional love, because if they don't meet a condition, then you don't love them. And I'm like, no, that's not unconditional love, actually. You can still love and make conscious choices to do other things, but that's not lack of love. But this world of performative, my mind is blown. When you said that, I was just sitting up here going, what? Because this conversation is going to cause many people to have visceral responses. So here's what I recommend. I recommend that you just listen. Consider that you don't know everything that there is to know. Consider that there may be some blind spots that you've been unaware of. Consider that you yourself may or may not be at the point in your journey where you realize that the place of being is the place of fullness. Guys, it reminds me of when a buddy asked me, I don't know, 20 years ago, can you just be? And I said, of course, yes, I'm doing these things. He says, no, not the doings. Like, can you just be? And it was the first time in my life, and I don't even know if I answered the question in that day. I was perplexed that the idea of my being is sufficient. I didn't know how to separate my doing from my being, my activities and accolades from my existence in itself is enough, which is probably because I didn't understand the value of my being, as it were. Because when I understand the value of my being, as it were, it doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. It just means I'm operating inside of who I actually am and my natural skills, gifts, and talents. So this is interesting. I'm very excited. And then
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
the world I come from, we are taught to go out and look at Mother Nature and learn. The perfect state of being, look at a tree.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
doesn't care what you think of it. It doesn't care if it's flowering, if it's fruiting, its leaves are dropping.
Yeah.
In every stage, it's whole. In every stage, it's living its purpose because a tree is a living entity. It gives shelter while it's being. It gives food, shade, raw material while it's being. It doesn't have to get up and start running around. Why don't we take a lesson from that page? And it doesn't care if you yell at it, if you like it, if you don't like it, whether you water its roots or not. Actually, when you don't water the roots of a tree, the roots grow deeper, making it more resilient and more sustainable. So there's a lot we can learn from that tree in a state of being. And when I married Mike, my husband is American born and raised, Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christian. So it's constantly like being a bee, right? Busy, busy, busy. And to me, that is nerve-wracking. I am a very active person, but I want every morning and every evening to start and end in just being, in that stillness, in that silence. So I convinced him that I need it and therefore he needs to give it to me. So in his performative mind, it feels like he's performing for me because he wasn't going to sit still for himself. So in the mornings, we meditate, we ring the bell, and the sound clears everything. And we sit with that. And at night, we sit in our recliner sofas, and I tell him, just hold my hand. I don't want a word. I don't want a question. And in the beginning, I would say, for every question you ask, you owe me $10. He owed me like $200 in that first 15 minutes. And then he said, okay, I'm broke. But over the years, 28 years, I got into a point where every evening for half an hour, he's just being. Hold my hand and just be.
So, Kaz, I have a question for you. And obviously, we'll get more into this topic, or we'll change the title to fit where the conversation goes. But as a woman, you worked, he worked. What did the being times offer you in the morning and in the evening? How did that add depth to your relationship? And was there ever a period of time where, for whatever reason, one of you were not working, and did the being still hold its value? And I'm asking this question because I personally believe it does. I personally would. I believe that when two minds are at ease and connected, ideas naturally flow and solutions are there. I've experienced it. So I absolutely see the value. But from a woman's perspective, even though this is the man's space, because we need to understand this as men, what did it offer you in the times where the doing may or may have not been what you would have ideally liked?
Yeah. So even working women are expected to be constantly doing something in the house, right? So this same conversation holds for the woman too. Right? I don't want to be constantly cooking, cleaning, prepping for tomorrow. I also need my space, right? A woman, every human needs a moment to be in their state of being. And as you already know, and the audience may or may not recall, my husband is 20 years older than me. So he retired much earlier in life. So he was the homemaker and I was the breadwinner. Even when he was working, he was an educator. So while educator is a very important role, it's not valued or remunerated as such in the United States. So in our marriage, I have been the primary breadwinner. But for me, Mike coming from that Western culture, I needed to find a way to bring him into my Eastern mindset that his value is not predicated on his doing. His value is predicated on his being for himself and for us in this marriage.
So good.
So it allowed me to help him break that toxic pattern because when a man feels he's less than or he's not enough, then he's going to spiral whether he wants it or not.
Yeah, this is good. I think it's good.
And no human should be judging another human. We
Mhm.
should just allow each person just to be, right? And so this started as my way of giving myself the space I need and teaching him a way to give himself grace.
So good.
And then when he got sick, when I had to carry him, bathe him, dress him, he
Mhm.
never felt he was less than because
Good.
we'd already addressed all of those. Life is about preparedness, right? It's not just for the military, by the way, it's for everything in life. How are we preparing? And you don't even have to be a spouse. You could do this to a male friend. A woman can be a friend of a man, and men are more comfortable opening up to a female friend as long as we both understand there is nothing performative here. The
Right.
minute we say there's nothing performative, there's no reason to say men and women can't be friends if there's nothing sexual. It's non-performative in every step of the way.
This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. I want to dive a little deeper into. I love how we opened. I actually love how we opened because that's going to cause a lot of triggers for a lot of people. Speaking to the men, I myself being one, I know that this idea of all the performative measures that unquote define you as a man. Now, yes, uh, there is a social responsibility, but because it's social, we have to ask questions. And here's why I say that. I know that on social media recently, I've seen a lot of if you don't have these things, then you are not considered not a man, but you shouldn't be dating. If you can't do these things, then you shouldn't even be having conversations. While I hear that and I have a general understanding of that and a small level of respect for it, meaning be responsible in your life, I'm all for that completely. On the flip side, I completely disagree because at that stage, now everything's performative. And if you're not meeting certain measures, then you tamper yourself, saying it nicely, and miss opportunities because all of who you are is now based in your performance. And that's just not the case. Cass just talked about the necessity that Mike has being an older husband at some point in his life needing Cass to help take care of him. And I'm not suggesting the idea that your man should make more or less. What I'm saying is that if those are the only measures by which you determine your relationship, as a man, you're probably going to miss some great opportunities. One of the things that many people miss is that the masculine and the feminine together make a better whole. The two exchange, the yin and the yang. And unless that's allowed from the being, then there may be bountiful opportunities, businesses, revenue, and things that are missed simply because one said, well, as a man, I don't have these measures, so therefore I shouldn't be engaged. I know that's a tough conversation. I'm telling you, I hear this a lot. And again, to a degree, I've bought into it. But if the existence of who you are is based on what you do, then you don't know who you are.
Yeah. And that's the danger, right? If you don't
Framework.
know who you are, and your identity is wrapped in everything you do, the day nature decides that you are never going to be able to do what you did,
Yeah.
you're going to be suicidal.
Yeah. Yes.
And no human should be put under that pressure. But on the flip side, if we all are able to understand who am I as a being? See, in the West, you ask every child, what do you want to do?
That's
In the
right.
East, we ask every child, what do you want to be? There's a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
As a soul, you are a being. And
Yes.
when you are a being, it informs all you're doing.
Yes.
And then you come from a place of centeredness from your being, and
Yes.
you can pivot and you're not defined by your doing.
Yeah.
If I'm an athlete and I sprain my leg, now I can become a sports reporter.
That's
I
right.
can be a sports illustration artist.
That's
I
right.
can be a sports commentator. I could be a sports blogger. I could do lots of other things. I'm still in sports, right?
That I'm with you. I talk about that all the time. My dad in their business, Kaz, one of the things that, and I think this is so critical, and I'm not sure how much more in depth we'll get. we tend to let the conversation flow as a flow versus scripting it. One of the things that, so we got to hit this again for sure, because I want to talk about toxic masculinity and how those things derive. And we don't have to hit it in this episode, but getting back to the being, a lot of times in American culture, we look at the end result and here's where I want to go. In my father's business, one of the things they teach is be, do, have. Start with your being and your mindset around the thing that you believe about you. Then do the things that lead in that direction. And in theory, you will have some of those results that match it. But I know in American culture, we usually wait for the have. And once again, if you don't have the have, maybe you just need to change a couple of things. But if you never start with the be, then you're approaching the experience completely wrong. I know Kaz mentioned if nature says it's your time for whatever reason, illness, whatever that is. But at the same time, if the universe decides it's time for an obstacle, you get laid off. Maybe you were a government employee who just recently lost your job because of the administration change. Now what? If you are absent of your being and it's based in your have, then you're in a world of hurt and a world of inauthenticity. So now,
And that's so important, right? My opening statement to myself every day, my reminder, my self-talk, connect with your being so
Mhm.
that you can purposefully channel all you're doing.
Can you
Because my being is my true north. And
connect?
if my doing is not anchored in my true north, I'm never going to find fulfillment. I'm going to chase outcome, chase relationships. When you chase, you never catch it because you're chasing. But
Yeah.
if you're in your state of being, then you are centered and you get to manifest and everything comes to you. It's also working smarter and it's vibrational.
And this is where that piece is. Cass, before I comment further, connect with your being so you can what? Your phrase?
Purposefully channel all you're doing.
Purposefully.
Channel all you're doing. And being are all capital. My book, Ennoble for Success, is anchored on this premise, chapter.
That's so good. You mentioned something about vibrational. I think we gotten so barbaric in our approach to relationships and our approach to manhood, which is where the conversation was starting, that we forgot that our manhood isn't designed or defined by the outcomes. It starts with the being. And until that being is clear, then as you said, we chase outcomes. And if those outcomes don't come, then we are suicidal, then we're depressed, then we escape community. And no wonder, not only can we not show up for our families, we can't feel whole and show up for ourselves. And
Yeah.
as a result of that, then all these other symptoms come about.
Yeah.
All
And
these,
the modern masculinity, modern day
mm,
world cannot support and sustain the old world traditional Western male definition.
no,
We're not hunter gatherers.
no,
We're not having stay at home wives who are barefoot and pregnant.
correct.
None of them work because both parties have to go to work, support a family, both need to be in their state of being and
Yes.
live a whole life. And two strong, grounded beings coming together
Yeah.
and choosing to share their life is a relationship. Whether
Yeah.
it's a marriage or a friendship, right? It doesn't matter what relationship.
Yeah.
And so the modern age cannot sustain that relationship. And I would also question, Darwin's theory talks about survival of the fittest, but did the fittest truly mean physical strength? Or did it truly mean your fitness to be in your state of being and build community so that you are in the fittest community that sustains you because you are vibrationally aligned with your being? And
Mhm.
it's the highest form of vibration authenticity. People are gravitated towards authentic people.
That's right. They are. And I would wonder if it also refers to adaptability. Because when
Yes.
you fit, you can adjust, you can be agile. And this, as you mentioned, this in this day and age, the model that we have of the man does everything, while that's nice, that doesn't work in 95% of households because of the modern day that we're in. And we need to think more broadly about our approach because, as you said, women are not sitting at home, they're working too. And so, therefore, it's not fair for them to come home and have to do everything. So
Yes.
how do we co create in our being so that if my wife is better than me at the finances, I may co-sign, but that's what she's going to run because that's her natural gift, skills, or talents. But if I'm better at parenting or showing some level of care for our children, that doesn't mean she's absent, but I'm going to be relied on there so that we bring the balance of what we need as a cohesive unit for our expression on the planet while not sacrificing who we are.
Absolutely.
Opportunity, right? That's the
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah. And to me, that's the power of being, right? If every man connects with his being, then he knows who he is.
Absolutely.
And as the circumstances change, he knows how to show up.
Yes.
Otherwise, to me, it feels like, hey, you were in a body of water and you were freaking out and you found this boat and this boat helped you get ashore somewhere along the life. And that's a metaphor for whatever you did to get there. But in your journey, if you didn't connect with your being, your entire life is associated with what the boat did for you and what you did with the boat. And you're so married to the boat, even when you come ashore, you're going to carry the boat with you and walk all over creation, and you're going to keel over and die because you were not meant to carry that boat.
Good. Good. The boat was used to help you identify yourself.
Yes. If you identify yourself with the doing, it is going to be the death of you. But if you get grounded in your being,
So
that
good.
being is capable of evolving because it's vibrational.
That's exactly right. That's so good. Being is capable of evolving. That's good, Kaz. And I think, not I think, I know, me, that is where the modern man in this day must be. Actually, should have been all along. We just didn't know any better, or at least in Western society. It's something that we've got to start to attune to. It may look different, it may feel different, it may require a different set of standards, but it's certainly going to require one of those other elements that cannot happen if you're not being, and that is vulnerability and willing to have conversations that you would otherwise not.
Yeah.
And I know for a lot of us, that's difficult because we're not used to it. Majority of men don't even have close relationships where they can be vulnerable. But in order for us to get there,
the funny thing is being vulnerable or not meeting expectations. Those are all made up words. In your state of being, there is no such thing as failure. There is no such thing as being vulnerable because you are being. Who's going to walk up to a coconut tree and say, you don't look like a mango tree, therefore you're less than?
yes.
It's just being what it's supposed to be.
That's
so
right.
all of these words, to me, the English language is lacking so much.
Yeah, it is.
And it's the language of the colonialist, therefore intentionally designed to control and divide and emasculate and make you feel less than. What if we get past all of that?
Ooh, I love our conversations. We go into different realms, Kaz. We have to get past all that because it's just made up. It has nothing to do with our being. That's good.
I mean, there are cats that catch rats, and then there are cats who run around and play and do nothing else. Doesn't make any one cat less than the other.
Exactly right.
Some are therapy dogs, some are stray dogs. They're all dogs.
And what's interesting is we've been through the English language, through the commercialization of Western world, we've been given a narrative about our existence and our value, but all of it is outside of our being. That's why we consume the most in the world because oh my God, what an indicator, Kaz.
Yeah, and value for whom?
What was that?
Look at what the Westerners did. They separated what the definition of work was. The physics definition of work is expending energy to create something. Physics definition, okay? My undergraduate degree is computer science, math, physics, so I know this formula very well. But what the Western world did is what the women did was no longer work. because it didn't create monetary value for them. So they devalued the woman's role, they devalued the woman's work and made her work free. Now nobody values the woman because the work she does is really not work. And then even women ask each other, do you work? And my response is, I work at home and I work outside of the home and I work in the community. Which work are you talking about? Right? The same way when a man is a homemaker, he's still doing work. We don't devalue people based on if society decided if it's going to get paid or not. Imagine if a man had to hire a cook, hire a maid to clean, hire somebody to do laundry, hire a surrogate to have his kids. He can't afford a family.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. This is so good because that narrative of our being stripped for the sake of colonialism and greed is incredible. It's incredible because the woman was absolutely doing work all along. But when devalued, of course, there's a fight to want to do something more because you're not doing anything.
Yeah. And the only way to make that happen is to make the man feel you're better than her because you're going out and working. And now the men of the world have bought into that Western propaganda. And when they can't do that, they feel like they are less than. So what if you get past the language, the religion, the culture that was thrust upon you and go back to the human roots?
So good, Kaz. So good. Most of us would be far happier with less, but we don't know how because we haven't started at the place of being.
Yeah.
Our being out here with whatever home, purse, car, asset, whatever, versus I'm a tree. I provide shade. I provide nurture. I provide comfort. I provide fruit. I provide shelter. Like this is mine. This is good. This is good, 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 good. This is good, Cass. And I'm sure there are voices who are thinking, well, that's great in an ideal world, but we live where we live. Here's my response to that. And I would look forward to yours. I think, and I tell people this sometimes in my training, we might want to get rid of some stuff to find out who we are, because otherwise we're going to spend the rest of our lives trying to maintain it and never get the experience of the fullness that we're capable of. And that is so dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Most of us as Americans could easily get rid of some stuff and begin to find true happiness because we won't have to work as much to maintain things we can't even use.
Absolutely. I'm the finance executive. I'm a CFO and a finance professor, right? In grad school and PhD programs. The four decisions you are going to make in life that have financial outcome are all non-financial. One, you have to decide who you are as a being. Then you need to preserve that being, heart, mind, body, and spirit. Then you have to decide who you're going to share your life with, your life partner. And four, are you going to build a community, or are you going to say, I am so great, I don't need anybody? The things that sustain us and keep our money working best for us is us knowing who we are so that our mind, spirit, and our emotions are aligned. And then from that state of being, we take care of our body, the food we eat, everything we consume. We are what we consume. So what I read, the people I talk to, what I eat, what I drink, all of that is going to cost me something or going to save me something. That's the second financial decision. Who do I marry? Do I want a trophy spouse? Or do I want somebody who's going to connect with me as a being? I'm going to connect with them as a being. And together we are going to co-create.
So good.
So that we do everything from that foundation.
So good.
Now marriage doesn't become work, right? And if I can show up like that for myself and my spouse and my family, I'm going to attract everybody in the community towards our family. And we are going to be the place that anchors the community. And now when something happens, the community is going to show up for us because we have been there for them. Because guess what? We always, first and foremost, are beings. And who we are being at home is who we are being outside. And then the conversation is about Oh, you're being too personal and you're not professional enough. All of that is BS.
It's complete BS.
Being doesn't have those definitions.
Right.
Morality, ethics, social responsibility don't have those definitions.
That's right. That's so good. I teach that in a lot of my training. Like the idea of being professional is so fake. It's a concept just made up to make us vanilla and not present.
To only take your physical doing into the workplace and negate the rest of your humanity.
Yeah.
I always say when I swipe my card to come in here, I did not leave my humanity out. It walked in that door, so you're going to have to deal with it. I am not a CFO who happens to be human. I am a human being centered in my very essence who happens to be a CFO. That's the conversation I have.
It's good. Yes, this is good.
And imagine if we gave permission to every man to do that. And all it takes is a handful of women to start this conversation so that men understand that not all women are going to expect you to be performative in every step of the way.
Yeah.
Give the men the freedom to find who they are and be who they are.
Yeah.
Then their being is going to come from an authentic place. All they're doing is going to be successful.
Yeah.
And they've, in their state of being, they can find the right partner that is going to help that union of being.
Yeah. And when that happens, magic transpires. I know firsthand when you're with the right partner.
That's same for business too, right? It's not just for personal life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not marriage only, it's for business too.
It's just a universal rule
Mhm.
of balance and exchange, but it can only happen, as you said, when the vibrations are high, when the awareness of self is really there, because now you hear more clearly. You know what to filter out. You're not chasing everything that comes as an
Yeah.
unquote opportunity when it's
Yeah.
really a distraction. It's good, Cass.
And the gift you give yourself is to let go of the ego and therefore get the pressure off of you. So now mental health is not an issue. Psychosomatic illnesses, where when you're psychologically not performing, you're putting all this burden on yourself and it shows up physically. You're into wellness and health, you know how this works.
Yeah.
There is a mind, body, spirit.
So good. How much
So
food?
if you were to take this, Marquise,
Yeah.
and pare this down to what can men do to redefine themselves, to show up for themselves and be in their authentic self, to be a modern man, to navigate the modern world, what are some of the things they should start thinking about?
Number one, taking the time to be quiet, getting to know yourself, reassessing your own innate skills, values, and talents just for who you are so that you can have inner satisfaction. That same discovery becomes your compass of how you expend your energy in the world. And the reason that matters is then work isn't work. Work is an expression of who you are and it gives back to you. So that might mean changing your job. It might mean changing your career. It may not. Beside of that, and work, I wouldn't say work is over relationship, but that's one of our first duties. And then when it comes to our relationships, now we bring a different level of authenticity to the conversation and our relationships. And if the partner we have is not aware of that or doesn't feel like they can handle that, that's a perfect time to start nurturing and lead in a space as such. Not leave or get rid of them, but lead on what it looks like to be human. What better gift can you give your partner than the gift of a mirror that's filled with love for them to discover the authentic versions of who they are? As that's being done, now you start to, I believe, as a modern man, we, Cass said earlier, we're now adaptable because we can adjust to whatever's going on in society. Do I need to be working right now while you're getting schooling so that we can move ahead? Do you need to be working right now so that we can move ahead? Do we need to downgrade so we have more freedom for our expression of life? What types of community involvement should we be in that gives back to us, but we're also giving out? So that as an individual, I'm fulfilled, but as a in a relationship, we are fulfilled collectively, and so is our partner as an individual. That is what I believe are the first most critical steps that will yield the greatest returns. Cass gave us Who are you? Who are you in terms of your being? Preserve your being. Who to share your being with, and to build community around it. I think the things I listed, coupled with that alone, will transform men's lives, and they'll stop chasing the experiences, unquote, that are given to us, leaving us empty in the end.
Thank you for that perspective, Marquise. I appreciate that. And I know our audience are going to love. One of
Yeah.
the first questions I ask in any interview, I have read your resume, I've checked you up on LinkedIn, we've done all the background checks, but I need to hear from you. Who are you? Do you know 9 out of 10 people don't even know what that is? I've had grown
No.
men break into tears and cry, saying, you know what? I have worked for 25 to 30 years. I've lived a life all the way past 50. Nobody has ever cared enough to ask me who I am, to a point where I have lost track of who I am. And for a grown man to break down at an interview in front of a young female executive who's recruiting him is hard enough. I have gone ahead and hired these men. Why? Because they had the courage to actually deal with it at that moment. And their ability to be honest and take stock of where they have lost their way, to me, that is honest.
Yeah.
And they didn't get here because they didn't know to do their work. They got downsized because of their age and because of their gender for most part.
Yeah.
Right? And so why not give them a chance and help rebuild? Because I don't have to reinforce the social norms. And I have it in me to break it. So why not be the cycle breaker, right? And I always tell them, please do me and yourself a favor. Before you start working here, I want you to write a page of introducing yourself without using your name, without using your geography, your education, your career, your religion, none of it. Anything that puts you in a box, gives your ego material, leave all of that out. But take an introspective journey and write a page of who you are, so that next time when you're introduce yourself that way. And at the end of it, say, I am so and so, and I'm here for this purpose. That's powerful.
So good. That's so good. Yeah, it's everything, Kaz. I've had people cry as well in trainings because I'm pushing for that authenticity. And inside of that, I'll know we're wrapping up. Inside of that, I'll leave, you and I both know this. I believe we discussed it before. But whatever research that was done in the last couple of years that was testing for what is the highest frequencies that humans can emit. Most of us have said love. We thought that love was the highest frequency that we can emit. And while love is beautiful and it's necessary, I think the other was like 62% higher or something like that, Cass. And what was it?
Authenticity. But see, without authenticity, love is conditional. The reason people say love is not unconditional is because they've never been authentic to themselves or in a relationship with another who's authentic.
Woo!
Right?
This is gonna be one of the best episodes. This is good.
So when we
So
lead
good.
with authenticity from our state of being, everything else is a flow and an attraction and a manifestation. God can only help those who help themselves, no matter how spiritual you are. You got to connect with your being. Guess what? Your being was your God's gift to you. So in order to honor the gift your maker gave you, take that moment every day and connect with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell myself. My soul is my gift from God. And if I don't connect with it, I am ignoring that what fuels me and anchors me. And in that soul is my maker. I am not separate and apart. I am my entire maker in a drop, which is my soul.
That is correct. I listened to something recently. We are the ocean that gets absorbed in the sky and comes back down as a raindrop. We're all of it at the same time.
Yeah. Rumi talks about it in terms of you are not a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in a drop. And Rumi is a Persian poet.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
The pre-colonial ages.
Yeah, there's a lot back there to learn. Anyway, This is good, Cass. This is so good. This is like very exciting. I for those of you who are listening, I'm very happy for you because I know something between what I said and Cass said has sparked some curiosity, even some visceral responses. But that in itself is good because it's going to force you to think and awaken. And until you are willing to do that, good luck because anything outside of yourself isn't living. What you think, Doc?
I think you said that perfectly.
All right.
The very essence of living is about being.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't do.
And then we'll
And
never.
so, first, let's all learn to be. And if every man learns to be, then he doesn't have to worry about is my world changing because you're just being and
Mhm.
you're evolving in your state of being, and everything else becomes noise. And anybody who doesn't resonate with you, there is dissonance, and that's okay. I will quote Star Wars, you're not the droid I'm looking for. Let's all move along. There's no anger, there's no animosity, there is no resonance. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. So go out there and please make time for yourself.
Yeah.
And connect with your being, because in that state of being is your essence, your gift from your maker, the very place your entire being resides. And it's
Mhm.
from there you're going to find all you're doing. And the success is going to come only because you made that connection. A cat cannot be a dog. You need to know who you are. Go find that out and just be. Give yourself permission to be. And anybody who denies you that right to be doesn't belong in your sphere of influence. It's that simple.
So good.